consciousness. And the gene keys today are based on many things, one of them being the planets and astrology and where the planets are. And right now, gene key 38, which moves through the shadow of struggle to the city of honor by way of perseverance, is transiting the northern hemisphere. So it's an energy body. It's a living wisdom because all life has living wisdom. Everything in life, I believe, has living wisdom. So these energies that these planets emit have a bandwidth of energy, and there's a high frequency, which is our siddhis, SIDDHI, our divine essence. And the lower, more dense part of the bandwidth is the shadow, which in this case is struggle. And the gift is right in the middle. And I always share this with everyone, always, because it's interesting to contemplate, oh, have I been feeling any kind of struggle? Or have people around me been feeling like they are struggling in some way? I think we could all agree the entire world is struggling right now. So it is up to the way showers to continue to work on ourselves and to embody those Christ teachings, those mystic Christ teachings, which is all about filling ourselves with light rather than operating from a sense of belief or a sense of who we've been molded to be. But who we actually are is light. And that light, love, right? We've heard it forever. Love and light. That is who we actually are. And then once we're born into our ancestral units, we begin to have the wounds of those ancestors and the reactions to those wounds imprinted on us because they're loving us and parents believe that they have to protect us, which they do. And they start imprinting onto we imprint onto our children whatever our ancestral patterns are, good, bad, or indifferent. And the gene keys are an opportunity, as are many paths, many ways, that for us to re-examine and say, okay, well, who am I? If I had been dropped down on earth in a nest of love and light, and I didn't have a bunch of influence, how would I operate? Who would I be? And that's an interesting thing to contemplate. So today, the name of the talk is called Divine Mise en Place. And I'm a chef and have been and been worked in fine dining most of my life, except for the 30 years of ministry. So before and all around it, being a delicious doula, and I like to help people with food as medicine and help people learn how to eat and fortify themselves so that they have a good immune system and they can have great food and have a great life without hurting themselves with some of the processed ways that we've all been subjected to over these last 30, 40 years. So divine mise en place, it's kind of funny because that's something that I always do. I learned that way in fine dining that if I'm going to cook, then I'm going to put all the ingredients out and I'm going to waste nothing. So by putting the ingredients and everything that I need to create the dish out ahead of time, it makes the flow and the artistry of cooking the dish unified and beautiful, and it flows. Well, when we think of ourselves, and here we are at the end of this year, and I'm sorry, the beginning of 2026, that's a whole nother conversation, what's going to be going on in this year. But for today, I wanted to keep it contemplative and inward and look at what are all the ingredients in this thing called life for each of us. And those ingredients sometimes have bitter ingredients or very savory ingredients, and sometimes they're sweet ingredients or they're very unctuous ingredients. And when you look at those ideas and us, we are made up of all kinds of ingredients. So, which ones are we going to focus on and really look to alchemize and co-create more of our true selves through our heart, through heart coherence, through love and the focus of mind and heart, and that sense of how do I move through such a wild sense of peace, my sense of joy, my sense of kindness, and not be so interactive in terms of reaction to the world. So when we think of divine mise en place and all the aspects and parts of ourselves, there, one of the parts of ourselves is the shadow part, and we all experience it. You guys know, I'm sure, haven't you all had an experience where you reacted without thinking or feeling, and then it created sort of an ongoing train wreck, perhaps, or difficult experience where now there is pain and suffering, and people are hurting, and we're confused, and we don't know what it is that happened, but there's this big sort of breakdown in our life, or it could even be little, a bunch of little breakdowns in our life. Those are ingredients. And those are ingredients that will make the dish of our life become magnificent. Because when we can recognize and notice that we have some wounding within ourselves, that we're like not able to stay in the heart space. And y'all, this is different from smiling and being nice. I'm not suggesting that we walk around just smiling and being nice. I mean, being nice is nice, but there's a big difference between being nice and being authentic, and in that authenticity, being in the heart or heart math, the coherence of who we are. And that can happen once we recognize, I work with a lot of parents, and one of the hardest things for parents is reacting, whether they're afraid their child is going to do something and get hurt, or whether they're frustrated or angry or exhausted and they're just running out of patience and they react to their children. We do that to ourselves. We do that to each other. Yes, it's much more obvious when there's kids around, and that's when we notice it. And a lot of the people I work with, they catch themselves angry and reactive, and then ask themselves, well, how is this going to make my child feel like they trust me and they want to grow and they want to learn? Well, I'm suggesting we apply all this to ourselves. When we react quickly and frustratingly and fearfully, and we shrink and we dumb ourselves down, the idea here is to notice it, not to beat ourselves up over it. We've already done enough of that. But to say, hey, this is an opportunity for me to take a look at this behavior and ask myself, who does this behavior remind me of? Where did I learn it? And if I learned it from my parents and their parents and their parents' parents and their parents' parents, is it an opportunity for me to choose again and to say, is this the right ingredient for this dish? Is this going to make everything taste amazing? And is this going to make everyone feel that wonderful, yummy, loving feeling of being nourished and being fed really great things that help us shine and grow? And so today with the burning bowl, it's a sacred day. It's the celebration of the closing of a calendar year. And it's interesting because a lot of people think that, they want to do, I know most of you know this, but a lot of people will go, oh, New Year's resolutions, when it's not energetically the right time for that. It is winter. It is the dead of winter. It is time to go inward. It is time to contemplate and to begin to cultivate the soil for those new goals and those ideas and those ways we want to transform. Because without going into the earth, nothing can grow. And so the earth is our consciousness, and it's going within ourselves and loving ourselves and saying, what is it that I want to let go of this year? And what is it do I want to bring in to me this year? How can I alchemize or transform some of my reactive behaviors and become more at peace, more loving. And we do that by noticing it. That's it. Nothing more. Just going, oh, I just noticed that I was a little short-tempered, a little reactive. I just closed down. I just got constricted. I just complicated something. How would you treat your child if they did that? I would hope that you would hug them and love them and talk to them and process with them and give them different points of view and ask them which one feels better to them. And now, if you do that for yourself, now you are parenting yourself. And this is what Gene Keys is all about, is becoming the parent we wished our parents could be, knowing that they couldn't. Because it's not about blaming parents. The parents are only doing what they were taught to do, believing it was the right thing to do. Unfortunately, a lot of things that we do are not to the highest and best to teach to our kids. They're limited and constricted and reactive. If we can open. And so I really invite everybody today as we're getting ready to do a beautiful ceremony that represents dissolving. And it's really interesting. We tried to have a playlist for everybody today. It didn't quite work, but there's a song called Dissolving by Emily Rowe. And it talks about I am dissolving, letting go of anything that is not truly present and right for me now in this moment. And in doing that, I mean, this is a ceremony, a practice that we do every time we take a breath, you guys. Every time we take a breath, we inhale and then we exhale and we let go in that moment. And we trust in that moment that there will be another breath. And so I invite everybody today, as we really think about this burning bowl, or in this case, dissolving bowl, same thing, as we can write down, okay, these are some behaviors, these are some ways that I've been. This is something that I've experienced that I'm really done with. This is something that I'm absolutely ready and willing to see what it can become. Because inside the shadow is the gift. We cannot grow, we cannot expand, and we cannot become in our transfigurated selves, our light body selves. That will not happen if we don't first go through a little struggle, which is the 38th gene key that's transiting right now. We have to struggle sometimes to find our way through a situation and choose higher ground. That higher ground will always, always be more loving. Always. And if we can choose self-love, this is something that, in the old days, it was all about, well, if I am nice and I smile and I don't create any waves and I don't disrupt anything, well, then everything will be fine. That's an old way. We no longer live that way. Now it's about transparency, authenticity, and our ability to be in our heart and to be in our focused mind of love. And to do that, that might mean having a difficult conversation, but doing it with love. I'm sure you all have had some experience where you had a hard situation, but you hung on to that love through the situation, and then it became something greater. This is our opportunity this year, right now, today, to say, okay, I am going to dissolve away all that does not serve me and replace it with a ferocious curiosity of, I wonder what this behavior, reaction, situation health issue, whatever it is, what is it really trying to teach me? Because that's the only purpose for any struggle or any difficulty, is to teach us something greater than itself. That is the question for today. What can I let go of, and what is it trying to teach me? The gift of the 38th gene key is perseverance. Perseverance simply means not letting go of yourself. Perseverance is staying with the love of yourself. Perseverance is striving for gratitude when things are hard. Perseverance is removing myself from an intense situation if I'm not feeling strong enough to stay in my heart. Perseverance is going out and trying something new and falling and failing and getting back up and trying it a different way. That is perseverance. When we persevere, it can be as subtle as breath, and it can be as big as complete transformation of a place, a situation, a thing, or a project. It is up to us individually to honor. That is the city of the 38th gene key. To honor. And to honor is like a mission, right? When we are honorable, we are honoring the mission of love. How can I love myself and love my life and love my shadows? How can I love them and see them for what they are? They are opportunities to enter into my more whole and holy self. So today in our divine mise en place and our 38th gene key of moving through perseverance and finding ourselves in the honor and honoring who we are and honoring all those we come in contact with, even if we don't agree. We don't have to agree. Agreeing isn't necessarily transformation work. It's easy to agree, but to stay authentic in whatever it is and see if you can feel love before you respond and stay in that authenticity. To honor the love of who we are and the love of what we are created in. Every one of us is created in, through, and out of love itself. And in that love is our truest nature. And so I truly invite everybody today, as we get ready to start this journey here and dissolve away of all that does not serve us, and to ask these things that do not serve us, what is it that you are trying to teach me so that I can be served? This is a beautiful thing. And it's a contemplation, right? The power of the pause. It's like a little writing that I do called The Power of the Pause, that has to do with taking the breath, resting, which is perfect for this time of year, in the contemplation of asking the question without needing to know the answer and asking the question without needing to judge it. Spirit, divine beloved, this is a painful experience that I am having. I so long to transform it into something that can serve others and serve myself in the highest and best. Show me, teach me, guide me, help me understand what this is here to teach me. And I will rise up and I will meet you, Spirit, at the highest place that I can. And I will send that love to all those I come in contact with. So I invite you now, as we get ready to do what we're calling the burning bowl, to really think about what is it? And I want to share this prayer with you. Infinite love lives and breathes within us. We pause now to arrive fully in the moment. We release the noise of the outer world and we turn our awareness inward. Your wisdom is already speaking and your presence is already present. We give thanks for the truth that nothing in us is accidental. Nothing in us is broken and nothing in us is out of place. As we gather this morning and open our hearts to see with new eyes, to recognize our lives as sacred preparation, our stories as holy ground, and our whole selves as worthy vessels of thy light. May we listen not with judgment, but with compassion. May we receive not to fix ourselves, but to remember ourselves. And may the Christ within each of us gently awaken what is already wanting to be revealed. We dedicate this time this morning to awareness, to transformation, and the loving service that naturally flows when we are whole. We are grateful, so deeply grateful, Father, Mother God, thank you. And we release this and we release ourselves and we release all the constriction and all the judgment. We release it all and ask for gentle, clear guidance as we make our way into our ceremony this morning and begin to write down what it is that we want to release, limiting beliefs, old patterns, emotional burdens, creating space for spiritual renewal and growth. So I don't know, Carol, if everybody has the small slips of paper and something to write with. And you at home, everybody at home, bless you guys. Marnie, your daughter was like an angel. She looked like an angel. I mean, it just struck me so deeply when she came on, and thanks for that. But everybody at home, get something to write with, have some paper, and then Carol, uh, you're on.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Everyone here has a piece of paper and a pencil, and I invite you to write down what you would like to release for the year. Let the paper represent what is being surrendered.
Is Annie going to play some music?
I might recommend just writing a couple of words or a simple phrase. And in case you were wondering why the word dissolve has been used today instead of burning bowl, we had a bit of a challenge with our getting our flash paper, which is what we usually use. So we have a bowl of water up here that actually allows the certain paper that we have to be completely dissolved in it. So when you're ready, please come up here one by one and place your piece of paper in the bowl of water to dissolve.
Carol, can you hear me?
As you place it in the water, you might simply affirm, I let this go with grace and trust.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
And now that we have paused in silence, acknowledge the space now created for renewal. And I would like to invite Reverend Kim back for a brief prayer or affirmation of trust and gratitude.
Oh, divine presence, infinite love moving in, through, and as me, we in grace. We give thanks that nothing is accidental. The very experience, that very challenge, every gift that has been lovingly prepared in sacred order. We release the habit of rejecting ourselves, and we let go of the belief that anything in us is ever out of place. We welcome our whole being as a vessel of wisdom and grace. Where we have seen shadow, may we now see potential. Where we have felt wounded, may we discover compassion. Where we have doubled our worth, may we remember the Christ within. Like Jesus, we say yes to transformation. We trust that what has been broken open in us is becoming a blessing to the world. We dedicate our integrative lives to loving service, not from striving, but from wholeness, not from perfection, but from presence itself. We dedicate our integrated lives to loving service, not from striving, but from wholeness, not from perfection, but from presence. May our shadows be alchemized into gifts. May our gifts be offered freely, and may our lives reveal the quiet truth that nothing in you and nothing in us is ever wasted. We affirm this prayer in gratitude, in affirmation, and together we say, Om, peace, Amen, and so it is.
Beautiful words, very heartfelt. Thank you so much. Juliet, could we put all of our Zoom folks on the screen so we can see who else was able to appreciate this beautiful ceremony? Oh, there's everyone today. Thank you for joining us. Don't blame me for not coming out in the snow. So nice to see the screen full. Thank you. A couple of exciting things coming up. First of all, we are extremely gratitude that we have power that is still on.